Yesterday, there was a poll out indicating that both Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are tied at the top of the poll when it comes to Democratic candidates for president. They're both polling at 20%, Biden polling at 19%, which means that they're at a statistical tie. But the big takeaway was that Biden lost a considerable amount of support among various groups or demographics within the Democratic Party, including Democrats who consider themselves moderates and conservatives. So I was invited on the Cuomo show, Cuomo Primetime, in order to debate this with Ana Navarro. So Ana Navarro is representing the moderate Democrats, I'm representing progressives. And an interesting topic came up in the middle of this conversation. I'm just showing you the part that I think was the most fiery, I guess. With that said, let's take a look.
Will Kasparian get behind a Joe Biden? Will you get behind a Joe Biden?
I want Trump out, so I do agree that it's important to support whoever ends up winning the Democratic.
Look how you're backloading it.
No, I'm not backloading it. I mean, I did not like Hillary Clinton as a Democratic candidate, but when push came to shove, the right thing to do was to vote for her, and that's what I did. Even as someone who lives in California who could have very easily casted a protest vote. But let's cross that bridge when we get there.
And we're a long way from it. Long way.
We are a long way from it. But I just want to quickly talk about or answer the question about who would be the best challenger to Donald Trump. I mean, look, Biden's got to figure out which state he's in first before he talks about fighting Donald Trump. I mean, he's campaigning in New Hampshire. He thinks that he's in Vermont. He's had one gaffe after the next, and Biden has this habit, and I think you see this with a lot of establishment Democrats, where he thinks he can work with the right wing and compromise with the right wing. I think that establishment Democrats are really missing the point. We don't want someone who's gonna concede to the right wing. We want a fighter. We want someone who's gonna make the Republican Party bend to our will, because we've been conceding to their side for far too long, far too often, and that has created the type of political climate and the political situation we're dealing with today.
Yeah, so Anna, that was an amazing job, but first I got to give credit to Chris Cuomo one more time, and I'll tell you why. Because on that same CNN network over the last 24 hours, we had Jeffrey Toobin come out and dismiss that poll that Anna was referring to as a rinky-dink poll. And then Harry Anton came out and he said, "Oh, it's an outlier." He's almost screaming into the TV. Normally he's just very calm. The numbers guy comes out, "Hey, Joe Biden's leading, everybody's happy, right?" Now all of a sudden, for the first time, Joe Biden's not leading, and he's like screaming into the camera, like, "No, wait, this is an outlier. You should ignore this poll. Ignore this poll," right? Okay, hey, take it easy, take it easy. And in the bad old days, well, that would have been it, and it would have been all establishment Democrats or Republicans talking amongst themselves. Is it going to be Trump or Biden? A set of choices that most of the country doesn't want. Cuomo provided a space for actual progressives to go on air, and you could tell because Anna says things like, "We're going to make them bend to our will," which I mean, I haven't heard that in television since I was on MSNBC, but other than that, for like 20 years, right? That was previously unallowed on television, strong progressives. So she says that, I'm back on tonight, so they're not stopping us. I know it's kind of a funny thing to praise CNN for, but they should be praised for that. MSNBC doesn't have anything like that on air right now.
Right, so look, I wanna be super clear. I give Cuomo and his producers all the credit because they do provide a platform for progressive ideas, and you don't see that anywhere else in cable news. I mean, Brian Stelter also invited me back on. That was like a few months ago, so I give him credit for that as well. But I mean, in terms of repeat progressive guests, you're right. I mean, you've been going on Cuomo on a regular basis, and it is important to break through to people who don't necessarily watch digital media or independent media. It's important to break through the people who are relying on CNN to get all of their information. And if you don't have that progressive view represented, well, then there's an entire world out there that some of these viewers are completely unaware of. And I think that people do want a fighter. I mean, some on the right saw that segment and decided to come after me and argue that I'm being authoritative. Or authoritarian, I should say, authoritarian. And I'm like, you guys support Donald Trump, who like wants to bypass Congress in every way possible to get exactly what he wants. So
right wingers crying about authoritarian government. Are you crazy? Really, with a straight face?
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, the Democrats have been unfortunately incredibly weak in our lifetimes. And so it's about time we had strong progressives that say, no. I'm tired of Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, beseeching Republicans. Oh, please, pretty please, will you work with us? How about we beat them with a stick politically and we crush them and we win and then we enforce our will? When Republicans say that, everybody's like, well, that's normal. Of course, bravo, Republicans, way to be strong. When Democrats say, well, first of all, they're not allowed on television previously. Now, when you hear it on television, they're like, are they allowed to say that? And apparently we are, so that's why we're giving them credit. Look, CNN also has Alexandra Rojas as a contributor. She's the head of the Justice Democrats, so it's not just us. Van Jones, there are other people on CNN. It's all of a sudden not like this weird aberration. I think that they're quicker to acknowledge that there is actually a progressive wing of the Democratic Party. And guess what, Harry? I know you're upset about this outlier poll, but it's real. And we're winning. And think about this, guys. Even when the Antons of the world freak out, and as long as, by the way, he freaks out, in my opinion, I'm sure he thinks that I freak out about different things. But as long as everybody's allowed on, let's have an exchange of ideas. No problem at all.
Totally agree. And by the way, like I thought, so Cuomo wants to challenge all of his guests. So I'm not taking this personally at all. I actually like when he challenges me because it gives me an opportunity to answer common right-wing talking points or maybe moderate Democrat talking points that we see. But the whole thing about like backloading in that very first part of the clip, like what did I say that made it seem like I was backloading? I thought that was interesting.
I get what he's saying. I mean, he's basically saying, look, you're saying, hold my nose and support Biden.
Of course I'm gonna hold my nose.
Yeah, and you're saying, yeah, that's true. So I think that's what he means by backloading.
Yeah.
And so he's not that wrong about that.
I hate that question though. I hate that question, not because I'm worried about telling people what I'm gonna do. I just don't want to message to establishment Democrats that we're gonna hold our noses and vote for them no matter what.
Yeah, and look,
right? So I hate
you're
that.
absolutely right about the framing. Yeah. So last thing I'll say about that, and I want to say one more thing about MSNBC and CNN, is that they always frame it as, will the crazy Bernie people support the mainstream Democrat when he obviously eventually wins, right? You could frame it as the much more interesting question, which is, will the establishment Democrats support Bernie Sanders if he wins?
I was gonna ask Ana Navarro that, but I just decided I want to move on and just talk about the importance of electing someone who's gonna fight, you know?
So, and that's a much more legitimate question because the overwhelming majority of Bernie Sanders supporters did vote for Hillary Clinton, more so than Hillary Clinton supporters voted for Barack Obama in 2008. So there's actually facts and evidence to show that Sanders supporters do come back into the fold at higher percentages than averages, historical averages. But you have nonstop people on television saying, no way for Bernie, never Bernie, never Bernie. So that's a legitimate question. Are these corporate Democrats gonna go against their own bread and butter and go against their lobbyists and consultant friends and all their money to support Bernie Sanders? I think they should start asking that now. You know why? Because Bernie Sanders is now at #1. So getting back to that poll to finish that thought, look, the Entons and the Tubins, etc. Now we're all in the same place arguing over the things, and you get to say anything you like. But Harry, we're gonna meet you at the next poll, and the one after that, and the one after that. So you can get all emotional that, oh my God, my beloved Joe Biden doesn't have the lead anymore. This poll must be crazy. I don't believe these numbers. No problem. I'll see you at the next poll, okay? And we're gonna win that one and the one after that. And there'll be a little bit of variations, etc. But if you think Biden's has the lead and is gonna keep the lead or is gonna retake the lead, well, I'm gonna be proven right and you're gonna be proven wrong. And the whole country's gonna see it. So God bless, that's an exchange of ideas. On the other hand, at MSNBC,
oh God.
Their idea of a progressive is someone who's like, I find Bernie Sanders physically repulsive, and I have no basis for that. I just wanted to say it because I hate him. And they're like, see, bravo, progressive. She doesn't like Trump either. No, that's not a progressive.
Yeah.
And they're littered with ex-Republicans or current Republicans who are like, well, yes, Trump is erratic at times, but not Bernie. Okay, so I don't know that you could point to a single person on MSNBC who's as progressive as any of the people that I named at CNN among the progressives. And by the way, guys, you know what we do? We bring people with us, okay? So I'm on first then Anna comes on.
And then I shut the door.
Yeah, we don't shut the door.
No one else.
And Alexandra Rojas, part of that mix, etc. Kyle Kalinski's gonna come. John Iadarola is gonna come. Okay, and when we look, man, super last thing. I know I love this poll, and I don't care about it being one poll or if it's an outlier, etc. It's a trend that I've been showing you all throughout. We were right, etc. And you'll see it in many polls going forward. We got a long way to go. My point is, guys, even if you thought this poll was an outlier, let's just say that they're all tied at 20, 20, and 20, right? Biden, Sanders, and Warren, because it's close enough to that it's a statistical tie, right? That means progressives have 40%. Conservative Democrats only have 20%. So, oops.
I didn't think about it that way, but you're right.
Yes, so that means we're gonna have the next president. And so MSNBC can try to block the gate and be like, no progressives allowed. But guess who's gonna come through? Someone who's gonna go through the gate and then live and work at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. You're not gonna be able to stop that gate. Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.